Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving into a topic that literally affects every single one of us, and that's our money. You know, there's this incredibly common myth out there that to achieve true financial freedom, you've got to earn millions of dollars, land some massive promotion, or, I don't know, win the lottery. We constantly put off feeling secure because we think it's a luxury reserved for the ultra-wealthy. But as we'll see with this blueprint today, that simply isn't true.
So, let me ask you this. What if you could take total control of your money without ever getting a raise? I know, it sounds kind of impossible, right? Especially when everything feels so crazy expensive lately. But today, we're unpacking one of the absolute simplest, most stress-reducing budgeting methods out there. And this isn't just some theoretical concept up in the clouds. This is a battle-tested framework used by millions of Americans to build real, lasting financial security no matter what their current paycheck looks like.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today's Explainer. First, we'll redefine financial freedom. Then, we'll break down the 50% essential needs, the 30% for enjoying your life, and the 20% for securing your future. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with why consistency matters way more than perfection.
Starting right off with Section 1, Redefining Financial Freedom, because it's really time to start managing the income you actually have right now.
Before we get into the exact percentages, we really need to make a mental shift. True financial freedom isn't about waiting for a bigger salary to magically solve all your problems. It is entirely about how you manage the money that's already in your hands. And honestly, the beauty of the 50-30-20 rule is just how simple it is. You just take your after-tax income, the money that actually hits your bank account on payday, and you divide it into 3 proportional chunks. Half goes to your needs, almost a third goes to your wants, and a fifth goes straight to savings and investments. It's an incredibly easy framework that lets you spend wisely, still have a great time living your life, and prep for the future, all at the exact same time.
And one of the biggest advantages here is just how uncomplicated it is. The myth is that budgeting requires these giant, complicated spreadsheets, a math degree, or expensive software. But the reality? It's literally just a simple division of your after-tax income. You do not need to be an accountant to pull this off. This blueprint simply gives every single dollar a job before you even spend it, which totally eliminates that awful stress of wondering where your paycheck just disappeared to.
All right, moving on to Section 2, 50% for your essential needs. This right here is the rock-solid foundation of your stability.
So, what exactly falls into this bucket? Well, these are the absolute essentials, the non-negotiable expenses that you absolutely have to pay every single month. We're talking about your housing costs, basic groceries, keeping the lights on with utilities, transportation to actually get to work, insurance, healthcare, and your minimum debt payments. Like I said, non-negotiable. And ideally, when you add the whole shebang up, it shouldn't cross that 50% mark of your monthly take-home pay.
But let's be real. What happens if you run the numbers and your needs are chewing up way more than half of your income? If you find yourself in that boat, it might be time to proactively look for ways to shrink those fixed costs. Our source material gives us 3 very actionable steps to tackle this. First, check if you can refinance your debt to lower those monthly minimums. Second, and this is a big one, you might need to seriously consider finding a cheaper apartment or tweaking your living situation. And third, mercilessly cut any of those unnecessary bills that are basically just masquerading as needs.
Next up is Section 3, 30% for enjoying your life. And yes, this is the fun part, all about guilt-free spending.
Now, when we talk about wants, we're talking about the things that just make life better, even if they aren't strictly essential for survival. This is your dining out at restaurants, your 5 different streaming subscriptions, saving up for that beach vacation, buying new gadgets, funding your hobbies, and just general entertainment. Allocating 30% here brilliantly illustrates how you can build a beautifully balanced life completely responsibly. You absolutely get to have fun, you're just putting a calculated, safe boundary around it. I really want to emphasize this quote because it's such a powerful mindset shift. The goal isn't to eliminate fun from your life. Instead, it's to enjoy these expenses responsibly without sacrificing your financial future. That is the exact mindset we are going for. It is 100% about intentional, guilt-free spending. Because think about it, when you know you only have 30% allocated for fun, you tend to spend it only on the things that actually bring you the absolute most joy.
All right, Section 4, 20% for securing your future. This is where you put the roof on your financial house and build true security.
Let's break down exactly where this 20% needs to go. This money has a very specific, very important job. It's for building your emergency fund. So a flat tire doesn't completely derail your month. It's for investing for your retirement, so, you don't have to work forever. It's for paying off high-interest debt way faster than just doing the bare minimum. Or it's for growing a broader investment portfolio. Simply put, this is the money that goes directly toward creating true, lasting, sleep-well-at-night security.
Now, I want to take a second to acknowledge something really important. Looking at that number, 20%, it can feel incredibly daunting at first. If you've never saved a dime in your life, suddenly carving out a whole fifth of your paycheck probably seems completely impossible. But hey, don't let that paralyze you. The big takeaway here is that even if 20% is out of reach today, starting with a much smaller amount, maybe just 5 or 10%, and slowly bumping it up over time is going to make a massive difference. The secret is just getting the habit started.
Which brings us to our final section, consistency over perfection. This is all about why checking in regularly is so vital.
So, the really crucial point here is understanding the difference between a strict law and a flexible guideline. Remember, this rule is a guideline. Let's say you live in a super expensive city like New York or San Francisco. Your housing costs are probably going to push your needs category way above 50%. And honestly, that is okay. The absolutely critical thing is that you just stay aware of your spending and make adjustments somewhere else. Maybe you dial back your wants to 20% instead. The framework bends, but it doesn't have to break.
To keep this flexible guideline actually working for you, you've got to have a simple monthly maintenance routine. First up, review your budget every single month. Second, track your expenses honestly. Seriously, don't hide those midnight impulse buys from yourself. And third, actively work to curb that emotional spending. Consistency is literally the secret sauce for success with this entire framework. You don't have to be flawless. You just have to check in with your money on a regular basis.
I really want to let this next point sink in. Small improvements, repeated month after month, can completely transform your financial future. By following this budget rule consistently, you are going to build savings, you are going to reduce your debt, you are going to invest for the future. Giving your money a clear purpose totally removes all that gnawing financial stress of the unknown. It is so incredibly empowering to watch small, everyday actions compound into massive long-term security.
I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative thought to chew on today. Are you really managing the money you already have right now? Or are you just sitting around waiting for a magical raise to save you? I challenge you to take a hard look at your current habits. Your journey to financial freedom genuinely starts with just one smart budgeting decision today. If you found this explainer helpful and it sparked some ideas for your own finances, definitely remember to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's also ready to take control of their money. Thanks so much for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next one.